26 cabinet ministers and 39 state ministers representing the 9th parliament take oaths. Former President Maithripala Sirisena turns down a ministerial portfolio. Dr. Harini Amarasuriya nominated to the national list seat allocated to the Jatika Jana Balawegaya. Former Minister Rishad Bathyudin summoned to the CID again. UNP stalwarts meet with Ranil Wickremesinghe once more.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime News, coming to live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Bernadine Chai Singha. Let's now take a look at local news. 28 cabinet ministers and 39 state ministers took oaths before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa this morning at the historic Magul Madua in Kandy.
The swearing-in ceremony commenced at 8:50 this morning under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Prior to the commencement of the ceremony, blessings were invoked by the Mahasangha. Appointment letters were presented to 23 chairmen of district coordinating committees, state ministers and cabinet ministers.
The Minister of Defence in the new government will be President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. 25 other cabinet ministers took oaths before the President. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa as the Minister of Finance, Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, Urban Development and Housing. Nimal Siripal de Silva as the Minister of Labour. Dinesh Gunawardena as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Professor G.L. Piris as the Minister of Education. Pavitra Vanyarachi as the Minister of Health. Douglas Devananda as the Minister of Fisheries. Gamini Lokuge as the Minister of Transport. Bandula Gunawardena as the Minister of Trade. C.B. Ratnayaka took oaths as the Minister of Wildlife and Forest Conservation. Chanaka Bandara Tennakon took oaths as the Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government. Kehliya Rabukwella as the Minister of Mass Media. Chamal Rajapaksa as the Minister of Irrigation. Dallas Salaha Peruma as the Minister of Power. Johnston Fernando, Minister of Highways. Vimal Veeravansa as the Minister of Industries. Mahinda Amaravira as the Minister of Environment. S.M. Chandrasena as the Minister of Lands. Mahindananda Alutgamage took oaths as the Minister of Agriculture. Vasudeva Nanayakara took oaths as the Minister of Water Supply. Udaya Gammanpila as the Minister of Energy. Dr. Ramesh Patirana as the Minister of Plantations. Prasanna Ranatunga as the Minister of Tourism. Rohita Gunawardena as the Minister of Ports and Shipping. Namal Rajapaksa took oaths as the Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports. Meanwhile, President's Counsel Ali Sabri took oaths as the Minister of Justice.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena was not awarded a ministerial portfolio this time. Former President Sirisena secured the highest number of preferential votes for the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna from the Polonnaruwa district at this year's general election. A number of elected MPs who held ministerial portfolios in previous governments were not appointed today. The group includes Professor Tissa Vitarana, S.B. Dissanayaka, John Seniviratna, Chandima Veera Kodi and Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. Former ministers Susil Premajayanta, Mahinda Samarasinghe, Dilan Pereira, Ranjit Simbalapitiya, Mahinda Yapa Abewardena, Anura Priyadarshana Yapa, Jayaratne Herat and Jagat Pushpakumara were also not appointed as ministers. Dushmanta Mitrapala and Rohana Dissanayaka were not presented with ministerial portfolios either. Several MPs who were elected into parliament for the first time were appointed as state ministers. They include Dr. Nalaka Godaheva, Professor Channa Jayasumana, Shashendra Rajapaksa and Jeevan Tondaman. Further, a number of national list MPs who were appointed to parliament for the first time, including Specialist Dr. Seetha Arambepola, President's Counsel Ali Sabri and Ajit Nivad Kabral were appointed as ministers. What is more valuable than being satisfied is achieving what the people of the country desire, not individually, but as a group. The people who desire a new political culture and a country that works have given the power to advance the president's vision. Therefore, we as a party and as individuals are taking steps to carry forward his program. I think we can now work with a strong government that can meet the expectations of the people. I have been a lawyer for 25 years. Based on that ability and experience and the networks I have made, I hope to upgrade the infrastructure of the judiciary and will hopefully be able to update outdated laws and make new laws that the country needs. The highest sum of foreign exchange is spent by Sri Lanka on petroleum. We hope to revolutionize the energy sector within the next 5 years to reduce crude oil imports by working on production and making the most of our oil tanks in Trincomalee. I held this post before the last election. A lot of work was done in the industrial sector at that time as well. That is why I have been given the same portfolio. The planned program is being carried out successfully. The livelihoods of 40% of the population is based on agriculture. It is our responsibility to uplift the agriculture sector. We hope to implement a huge program for the country in the future. We love challenges. This ministry is committed to implementing a new program to face those challenges. The president has always said that if you fulfill your duty, he will do his duty. So now we should do our duty.
I believe His Excellency the President and His Excellency the Prime Minister are satisfied with the leadership I have given to this ministry. We are embarking on a targeted program to create a healthy generation.
This time the cabinet and state ministers have been appointed in such a way that a young group can work within these subjects. We hope to implement Gotabaya Rajapaksa's policies and in the future create the necessary environment to rebuild the country in the face of these global challenges. We can do a lot of work in the field of irrigation. Also, the rural tanks this time have been put under the purview of the Ministry of Irrigation. We hope to cater to all those who need water. As the Minister of Ports and Shippings, I will give my utmost to carry out the new government's program. We have seen in the past that they carried out a big scam claiming investments are coming. Also, airports were used for paddy storage. However, we will continue to develop airports and investment zones in a way that will place the focus on development and the economy of our country.
39 state ministers took oaths before the president as well. Chamal Rajapaksa, State Minister of Internal Security, Internal Affairs and Disaster Management. Priyankara Jayaratne, State Minister of Foreign Employment Promotion and Market Diversification. Duminda Disanayake, Solar, Wind and Hydropower Generation Project Development. Dayasiri Wijesekara, State Minister of Batik, Handloom and Local Apparel Industries. Lasantha Alagiya Wanna, State Minister of Cooperatives, Sales Promotion and Consumer Protection. Dr. Sudarshini Fernandopulle, State Minister of Prison Reforms and Rehabilitation. Arundika Fernando, State Minister of Coconut, Kitul, Palmyra, Sesame, Rubber Cultivation and Related Industry Promotion and Export Diversification. Nimal Lanza, State Minister of Rural Roads and Other Infrastructure. Jayanta Samaravira, State Minister of Warehousing Facilities, Container Yards, Ports, Supply Facilities and Boat and Shipping Industry Development. Roshan Ranasinghe, State Minister of Land Management and Development of State Enterprise Land and Property. Kanaka Herath, State Minister of Company Establishment Reforms, Tea Estate Crops, Tea Factory Modernization and Tea Export Diversification. Vidura Vikramanayake, State Minister of National Heritage, Performing Arts and Rural Skills Promotion. Janaka Vakkumbara, State Minister of Small Plantation Crops Development, Sugarcane, Maize, Cashew, Pepper, Cinnamon, Cloves and Betel and Related Export Promotion.
Wijesekara, State Minister of Dhamma Schools, Bhikkhu Education, Piriven and Buddhist Universities. Shehan Semasinghe, State Minister of Samurdhi, Microfinance, Home Economy, Self-Employment, Business Development and Underperforming State Asset Development. Mohan De Silva, State Minister of Fertilizer Production and Supply, Chemical Fertilizer and Pesticides Regulation. Lohan Ratwatta, State Minister of Gem and Jewellery and Related Industries. Dilu Mamunugama, State Minister of Vehicle Regulation, Passenger Transport Service, Railway Carriages and Automobile Industries. Vimalavira Disanayaka, State Minister of Forest Protection, Elephant Fences and Trenches Construction, Reforestation and Forest Resources Development. Taraka Balasuriya, State Minister of Regional Cooperation. Indika Anuradha, State Minister of Rural Housing and Construction and Construction Material Industries. Kanchana Wijesekara, State Minister of Fisheries, Freshwater Fish and Shrimp Farming Development, Multi-Day Fisheries and Fish Exports. Sanat Nishanta, State Minister of Development of Rural and Regional Water Network Projects. Siripala Gamlat, State Minister of Development of Infrastructure of Settlements and Waterways in the Mahaveli Zones. Sarath Wijesekara, State Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government. Anuradha Jayaratne, State Minister of Development of Rural Paddy Fields and Associated Tanks, Reservoirs and Irrigation. Sathasivan Vyalendran, State Minister of Postal Services and Professional Development of Media. Thenuka Vidana Gamage, State Minister of Rural and School Sports Infrastructure Development. Sisira Jayakodi, State Minister of Indigenous Medicine Promotion, Rural and Ayurvedic Hospital Development and Public Health. Piyal Nishanta, State Minister of Women and Child Development, Preschool and Primary Education, Schools Infrastructure Development and Education Services. Prasanna Ranavira, State Minister of Cane, Brass, Clay, Furniture and Rural Industry Promotion. D.V. Chanaka, State Minister of Aviation Services and Export Zone Development. D.B. Herath, State Minister of Livestock, Animal Husbandry Promotion and Milk and Egg Related Industries. Shashindra Rajapaksa, State Minister of Paddy and Cereals, Organic Foods, Vegetables, Fruits, Chili, Onions and Potato Seeds Production and High-Tech Agriculture. Dr. Nalaka Godaheva, State Minister of Urban Development, Coast Conservation, Waste Disposal and Public Sanitization. Jeevan Tondaman, State Minister of Estate Housing and Community Infrastructure Development. Ajit Niwad Kabral, State Minister of Finance, Capital Markets and State Enterprises Reform. Dr. Seetha Arambepola, State Minister of Skills Development, Vocational Training, Research and Innovation. Professor Channa Jayasumana, State Minister of Pharmaceutical Production, Supply and Regulation.
23 elected MPs were presented with appointment letters as chairman of district coordinating committees by the President. Colombo District, Pradeep Udugoda. Gampaha District, Sahan Pradeep Vitana. Kalutara District, Sanjeeva Edrimana. Kandy District, Vasanta Yapa Bandara. Matale District, Nalaka Bandara Kottegoda. Nuwara District, S.B. Disanayaka. Galle District, Sampath Athukorala. Matara District, Nipuna Ranawaka. Hambantota District, Upulgala Patti. Jaffna District, Angajan Ramanathan. Kilinochchi District, Douglas Devananda. Vaunia District, K. Dileepan. Mana and Mulaitivu Districts, K. Kadamastan. Ampara District, D.V. Veerasinghe. Trincomalee District, Kapila Athukorala. Kurunegala District, Gunapala Ratnasekara. Puttalam District, Asoka Priyantha. Anuradhapura District, H. Nandasena. Polonnaruwa District, Amarakirti Athukorala. Badulla District, Sudarshana Denipitiya. Monaragala District, Kumarasiri Ratnayaka. Ratnapura District, Akila Ellavala. Galle District, Rajika Vikramasinghe. No chairman was appointed for the District Coordination Committee of the Batticaloa District today. After the swearing in of the new cabinet, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa visited the temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic this morning. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was also present during the visit. There, Dewadana Nilame Pradeep Nilangadala presented a memento to the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa also visited the Mahanayaka Theros of the Malwatu and Asgiriya temples this afternoon.
The Court of Appeal today issued an order not to enforce the warrants issued for the arrest of the Kurunegala mayor and 4 others until the 24th of August. The order was issued after the writ application filed by the 5 individuals against whom the warrants were issued was called up in the presence of Court of Appeal President AHMND Nawaz and Justice Sobita Rajakarna.
On the 11th of August, Kurunegala Mayor Tushara Sanjeeva Vitarana filed a writ petition with the Court of Appeal seeking an order to prevent the enforcement of the warrant issued for his arrest. On the 7th of August, the Kurunegala Magistrate Court issued warrants for the arrest of the Kurunegala Mayor and 4 others about the case filed over the demolition of a building in Kurunegala with archaeological value and reissued the warrants on the 10th of August. It was then revealed in court the respondents in the petitions, excluding the one filed by the Kurunegala Work Superintendent Ilaluddin Zulfikar, had not been properly received, and therefore only the petition filed by the Work Superintendent was called up for consideration on Wednesday. Attorney at Law Riaz Amin, appearing for the Work Superintendent, said according to a report produced by the Director General of Archaeology on the 24th of July, the site is classified as a building with archaeological value. However, he said no scientific evidence was produced to prove these claims. Counsel further said there are flaws in enforcing warrants as the Kurunegala magistrate had not mentioned under which provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure the warrants were issued. However, Senior Additional Solicitor General Sarat Jayamana, appearing for the Attorney General, said as the Department of Archaeology had already published via Gazette claiming the building is of archaeological value, therefore the petition should be rejected without even granting permission for examination. The Court of Appeal announced it would decide on whether to grant permission to examine the petition and issue an interim injunction as requested by the petitioners on the 24th of August and issued an order not to enforce the warrants until that day. The suspects named in the case at the Kurunegala Magistrates Court are Kurunegala Mayor Tushara Sanjeeva Vitarana, Kurunegala Urban Commissioner Pradeep Nishantha Tilakaratne, Urban Engineer Chaminda Bandara, Work Superintendent Ilaluddin Zulfikar and backhoe loader operator Lakshman Priyantha. They were represented in court by a group of counsels led by President's Counsel Kalinga in the Tissa.
Dr. Harini Amarasuriya has been appointed to the seat of National List member from the National People's Force. The party stated that the name of Mrs. Amarasuriya was forwarded to the Election Commission today.
Harini Amarasuriya holds a PhD in Social Anthropology from the University of Edinburgh, UK. She is a senior lecturer in the Department of Sociology at the Open University of Sri Lanka and a former secretary of the Federation of University Lecturers Associations. Ms. Amarasuriya was a member of the Public Consultation Committee on Constitutional Reform and a member of the Education Policy Making Committee of the National Intellectuals Association, a party affiliate of the National People's Power.
Several senior members of the United National Party met with party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe today.
The meeting took place at Ranil Wickremesinghe's residence down 5th Lane, Colombo 3. However, the matters discussed during the meeting was not revealed to the media.
No comment. ඔබතුමා පොඩ සාමාන්‍ය කතා කරන ජෙනුයින් නේ ඔබතුමා පොඩ ඉවයක් ගත්තද මොනවද මොකද නායකතුමා එතකොට සිරිකොතෙන් මගේ අරලයි මෙහෙ නායකතුමාලා ගෙදර තිබ්බේ
අපි පක්ෂයේ මේ ඉදිරි සංවිධාන කටයුතු පිළිබඳව කතා කරා.
ඔබතුමාලා වෙනද මාධ්‍ය මගහැරලා ගියේ නෑ.
ඒකනේ ඔබතුමාලා.
නෑ කවුද බලන්නේ?
නෑ එහෙම නෙවෙයි දැන් වාහන ඇතුළට ගන්නවා එළියට ගන්නවා ගොඩක් දේවල් වුණා මෙතන ඒක යහන්නේ.
නෑ ඉතින් වාහන ඉතින් මේ තියෙන්නේ එළියේ.
නෑ මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට එළියට බහැලා ඇවිල්ලා මාධ්‍යට අදහස් දක්වලා යන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙද්දි ඇයි මේ මෙහෙම කරන්නේ?
අනේ මාධ්‍යර කතා කරන දෙයක් අද කතා කරේ නෑ අපි.
නායකත්වයට 4 දිනක යෝජනා වෙලා තිබ්බනේ දැන් මොකද ඒ ගැන මොකද හිතන්නේ?
ඒකෙදි අපිට වගින් කොමිටියනේ කතා කරන්න තියෙන්නේ.
දැන් මේ එතකොට කවුද තෝරාපත් කරගත්තේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව යවන්න ඔබතුමාලගේ නාමය?
නෑ ඒ මොකුත් කතා කරේ නෑද? නෑ ඔයාලා ඔය අහන ප්‍රශ්නයක් අපි කතා කරලා නෑ.
සාකච්ඡා අසාද? නෑ මොකුත් එහෙම
හරි යන්නේ.
මේ අයියා අපිට මෙහෙම කරන්නේ.
දැන් නගරාධිපතිතුමෝ ඔයා දැන් මට ඉන්ද්‍රවාසියක් එවලා නඩු දානවා කියලා ඇයි දැන් ඔයා හැංගිලා ඉන්නේ එන්නකො එළියට ඇයි හැංගිලා ඉන්නේ ඇයි ඔය තරම් බය පෞගේ 31 වෙනිදා කුරුණෑගල මහනගර
I am asking the mayor, why are you hiding now after sending me an affidavit and telling you are going to sue me? Come out. Why are you hiding? Why are you so scared? The Finance Committee of the Kurunegala Municipal Council met on the 31st and the mayor was present at this committee. And 2 UNP members were also there in the committee with another member. 11 officials also got involved in the committee. A section of the back of the old building of the Buoneko Hotel in the center of Kurunegala city has collapsed recently. It just collapsed all of a sudden on its own. Now this report says the media brought out false facts and people are upset due to these false statements made by the media. Tomorrow is the proposed date for the meeting of this council. According to this report, they have sought approval to a fee of rupees 630,000 to pay as attorney fees for the Attorney General's advice and views on the demolition of the Buoneko Hotel. Also, rupees 550,000 is to be paid for the report drafted by the Prime Minister's committee on the matter. To submit facts to the Attorney General regarding the building, rupees 1 million. The total comes up to rupees 2,250,000. Now, can they use public money for this scam done by the mayor on his discretion? Therefore, we want to point out if someone raises his hand and approves this tomorrow, you will have to go to court and pay the money back to the government. So keep that in mind before raising your hand.
අනිවාර්යෙන්ම තමුන් අධිකරණ හමුවට එන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම තමයි මේ මුදල් තමුන්ට ආපහු රජයට ගෙවන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවයි කියන එක ඔළුවේ තියාගෙන මේකට අත උස්සන්න.
Dr. Mangala Amarasinghe, the organizer of the United National Party for the Dodangaslanda electorate, convened a press conference today.
අපි කියන්නේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ නායකත්වය විතරක් නෙවෙයි. මෙතෙන්දී එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ
Not only the leadership of the UNP but all the officials of the UNP, the General Secretary, Deputy Leader Ravi Karnanayaka, Treasurer Daya Gamage, all of them must leave the party and allow a new leader to run the party under a new set of officials. We have to appoint Karu Jayasuriya as the leader and ask the incumbent leader to step aside and allow him to appoint a new team to build the United National Party under his leadership.
මට නවනිලධාරි මණ්ඩලයක් පත් කරගන්න ඉඩ දීලා සිළු දෙනාම පැත්තකට වෙන්න කියන කරන ඉල්ලීම තමයි අපි කරන්නේ.
Leader of the Samagi Jana Balavega, Sajid Premadasa, arrived at the Bodhi Raja Arambepola at Crow Island, Athukorala in Colombo today.
The leader of the Samagi Jana Balavega, Sajid Premadasa, visited the Bodhi Raja Arambepola in Crow Island, Athukorala this afternoon to receive the blessings of the Mahasangha. Afterwards, Sajid Premadasa called on the chief incumbent of the Bodhi Raja Arambepola, Venerable Dulrava Arya Dhammathero. I especially want to remind you that your father, the late Ranasinghe Premadasa, improved this area, improved this locality through Grammudava and made his legacy immortal. Therefore, we bless you as monks. Thereafter, Sajid Premadasa came to the Davala Singha Arambepola. The Samagi Jana Balavega leader was afforded a warm welcome by locals. Premadasa also engaged in religious activities at the temple. He then left the location amidst the cheers of the crowd.
Former Minister Rishad Badiuddin arrived at the CID yet again to provide a statement.
The former minister arrived at the CID around 10 a.m. today. They summoned me on the 3rd. I could not attend because of the election. Therefore, they summoned me today through courts. So here I am. I will return and tell you what happens. According to the police, the former minister had been summoned to the CID to record a statement about an investigation which is being carried out on the April 21st attacks. The former minister provided statements to the CID on several previous occasions as well. After providing a statement for nearly 6 hours, the former minister left the CID at around 4 this evening. They had notified me to bring all my passports with me. I handed them over. They asked me which countries I travelled to and then wrote them down, including when I went and returned. Last time they questioned regarding the company owned by Ibrahim and Insaf, which is registered with the IDB. People in several villages in the Thirappane Divisional Secretariat locality in Anuradha have cultivated papayas this season. This includes the villages of Turuvila, Selistamaduwa, Halmilla Kulama, Mawatavawa, Rotavawa, Vellomudawa and Konvawa. The cultivation is of no use as it does not produce the expected yield. Farmers say that this would not have happened if they had received fertilizer on time. For 1 acre, they invest up to 700,000 rupees. The villagers question as to who should be informed about this loss, even though they had been engaged in a great struggle to protect the plantation from the trouble caused by elephants. Farmers in Nikavarati are facing an issue due to a pest that infects the trunk and fruits of the brinjal tree. Farmers of Udahenagama Nikavaratiya called us to intervene and to help find a solution to this problem. They state that this pest causes more damage than elephants. Now that you are tired of farming, it is better to work for daily wages. When I work for a daily wage, I earn more than 1,500 rupees a day. Now the daily wage earnings are also being spent on this. About 85,000 has been spent. At that time, only 30,000 rupees was taken from this patch. He had abandoned farming and only came back when these fruits were born. Unable to bear the pain of the losses, these farmers destroy their cultivations.
Former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and former Ministers Mangala Samarabida, Partili Champika Ranawaka, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca and Malik Samara Wickremesinghe issued notice to appear at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing incidents of political victimization on the 21st of August. Moving on to more local news, ex-Minister Mervyn Silva's son Malaka Silva, who was arrested for attempting to obtain 100,000 rupees by force from a businessman in Thalangama and threatening him with death, was granted bail by the Kadwela Magistrates Court today. Malaka Silva was ordered to appear at the Kadwela Magistrates Court again on the 7th of October. The Thalangama police arrested Malaka Silva yesterday based on a complaint lodged at the police. Moving on to more local news, employees at the Colombo Port City continued their protest for a third day today. They demanded to be called back to work.
The protest was staged at the agitation site located opposite the Presidential Secretariat. According to the protesters, they are working for a subcontractor of the Port City project and haven't been called to work for the past 5 months. Previously, we protested opposite the gate. Today is the third day of our protests and we came here because our issues were not addressed. We presented 3 demands. We first requested them to open the gates. People have been stuck there for over 4 months. The rest of the employees are outside. The people who are inside cannot leave and those who are outside cannot enter. Who do we complain to? When we went to the Labour Department, they asked us to solve this at the police station. When we go to the police station, they ask to solve this matter at the Labour Department. In the end, no one intervenes. The managers have decided that all of these employees should be laid off. They have closed off the site where 1,191 people are working. The management has decided to remove all of these employees as they stage this protest. We kindly request the minister in charge to look into this matter and give us a solution within the day. The protesters then marched to the premises of the Port City and met with a senior official of the Port City. The senior official had handed over a letter to the protesters informing them that those who have not been called to work at the Port City will be allowed to enter the premises. The protesters decided to temporarily halt the protest. The protesters further pointed out that their employment issues have not been solved as yet.
China Harbour Engineering Corporation, Port City Colombo Limited, has issued a media statement regarding a dispute between ex-employees attached to a contractor of Port City Colombo Private Limited. In the statement, CHEC Port City Colombo Limited says, quote, "It has been reported to us on 11th August 2020 that a group of people were protesting against the legal decision made by a contractor of Port City Colombo Private Limited regarding the termination of their contracts and dispute on accepting new health regulations imposed by the government. This contractual and regulatory dispute has arisen between a contractor company and its employees, which CHEC Port City Colombo Private Limited, the project invest or company, have no direct connection with," unquote. CHEC Port City Colombo Limited has expressed its shock and dismay regarding the course of action taken by the group of employees instead of resolving their issues through formal and legal means with their employer. The release also adds, quote unquote, "Port City Colombo is committed to ensuring the job security of over 1,500 local employees working at the construction site. Due to these sentiments, we are very much dismayed by a protest of this nature," unquote.
Police arrested a 42-year-old woman and her 19-year-old son for the possession of 800 grams of heroin in Bedagana, Pittukotte.
Police said the suspects had carried out their drug trafficking operations from a rented house located down Anandamavata in Bedagana, Pittukotte. In addition, Sri Lanka police seized 7 million rupees in cash from the possession of the suspects, along with a car and a motorcycle. The arrests were made based on a tip-off received by the Megahawata police, and Senior DIG Deshabandhu Tennakon was also present with officers to carry out the raid. Asitha Hematilaka alias Solta, a leading hitman in the Angudaloka gang, was shot dead by police yesterday. Police said that the shooting occurred when the suspect attacked the police using a grenade in the Valivita area in Mulleriava. The suspect, Solta, was wanted in connection with several murders, including the killing of beautician Manjula Sandhuni Jayaratne in 2017 and Roshan Primalal alias Poli Roshan in 2018. Meanwhile, the body of a man buried in a jungle area near Simbalape Junction in Biagama was exhumed this morning. The deceased was identified as Neville Padmakumara, a 22-year-old bachelor. He had been running a fruit stall in Biagama, and residents of the area had complained to the Biagama police yesterday regarding his sudden disappearance from the stall. The three-wheeler of the deceased had been parked near the shop, but there was no trace of him. Later, the Biagama police conducted an investigation, and it was revealed that the person was buried in the jungle area near the shop. Accordingly, the body was exhumed this morning under the direction of the Mahara acting magistrate Vasanta Ramanayaka. There was a helper with him. He also had gone missing. If they can't find him, we will be able to find out what exactly happened. The body has been taken to the Ragama Teaching Hospital for an autopsy.
A three-wheeler was stolen by two people in Bambalapitiya this afternoon. The crime was recorded on a CCTV unit nearby.
The theft occurred at around 1:20 this afternoon in Elibank Road. The CCTV unit had recorded the manner in which two people arrived on a motorbike. The motorbike parked in Bambalapitiya had been stolen yesterday, and police suspect the same group is involved in the theft. The police have requested the public to provide any information regarding these individuals to the hotline 0718 591580.
Cabinet Minister of Water Supply Vasudeva Nanayakkara will be in conversation with Faraz Shalpatali tomorrow, the 13th of August at 8:30 p.m. on Newsline on Election First. Cabinet Minister of Justice President's Council Ali Sabri will join Faraz Shalpatali on Newsline on Friday the 14th of August at 8:30 p.m. on Election First. With that, we wrap up Primetime News. I'm Jayaratne. Good night. Take care.